Hi everyone, Forest here. In this video, I want to share my process in making this illustration commissioned by 𝓒𝓻𝓮𝓭𝓲. Here I already have the rough concept of the illustration, and right now I'm going to redraw it on a new layer. I start with the character because obviously she is the main focus here, and her design is really fun to draw. I really like the hair, especially the twin tails. I think it's a very creative design, you know, like having a twin tails attached to the buns, like some sort of keychains. But it's really fun and it's really fitting with her being a zombie. If you are wondering what those images are outside of the canvas, they are just references I gathered, because I haven't decided on what kind of mood and vibe I was going for. But my client requested for a golden hour vibe, and that was my starting point. But I'm not going to think about it for now. Right now my focus is adding details and making sure the composition is okay. So I'm done with the sketch version 2 and now I'm doing the line art, or as I like to call it, a slightly neater version of the sketch. Previously, I separated the layers into 3 parts: character, props, and background. Now I'm going to separate them into their own layers like face, eyes, hair, and etc. I'm having a small difficulty with the braids. I don't really like to draw braids because the intersections are so confusing and my brain hates difficult patterns. That's probably why I don't draw stuff with patterns a lot, although I really want to draw them. I am learning though little by little in my spare time, just doodling on a scrap of paper, but in the end I think difficult patterns are easier if you just block their shapes with color and then render them instead of drawing every dimension of it and then fill it with color. It's less work in my opinion. I'm drawing the background right now. I honestly find drawing detailed backgrounds fun until I have to render them and then I panic. I used to be bad at drawing backgrounds and actively avoided drawing backgrounds. But it's not like I'm good at it right now as well. But I think I've gotten better, and whenever I think about drawing backgrounds, I don't feel intimidated anymore. Honestly, my biggest inspiration in learning perspective and drawing backgrounds is probably from 𝐒𝐻𝐞𝐞𝐝, rest in peace legend. He was just too good and could draw anything right off the top of his head. Like, who doesn't want to be able to do that? I was so impressed and watched a bunch of his live streams and acquired my fundamental understanding of perspective from watching him drawing live. Anyway, I think I'm done with the line. So right now I'm going to block the base color for everything. I start with gray because this is just a base for the color layer. I'm going to clip the actual color layers on top of this base, and this is just my preferred way to work. I'm finally working on the lighting here. I just make a new layer on top of everything and set it to multiply mode. After the base lighting idea, which is basically just determining light and shadow, I like to brainstorm colors with gradient maps. Gradient maps really help with harmonizing overall colors in my opinion. Sometimes you can get ideas from trying out color combination as well, and experimenting with gradient maps here was really helpful since I was still unsure what kind of mood I was going for. So I tried both cool and warm colors and sent them to my client for her to choose. Well, this is a weird jump from choosing colors to suddenly painting a still life. So basically, I got an update from my client, and before I proceed to rendering, I'm going to fill in the blank papers and canvases first with drawings. It's a pretty boring process, so I'm going to skip this and move on to the next process. Now I'm finally rendering. I first duplicate the shadow and gradient map and clip them on every layer, including the line art. I didn't record because there was nothing going on since I was just duplicating and clipping layers, so I just skipped to the next part. So when rendering, I like to paint everything on one layer, so I merge the base color, line art and shadow together before polishing them. I also like to work on the background first, rendering the insignificant details and slowly working towards more important details. Well, it's also because I want to keep my motivation going by not working on the important part too early and lose my motivation after I finish the important part. I'm just dangling a carrot in front of myself, I guess. So the boring part first and then the fun part last. But the background has a lot going on there. It will take a while to render them all, and I realized I have to update my client because it has been a week. So I render the character a little bit, just a very light render, like adding shadows and highlights for depth, so I can send it to her. I actually love and hate rendering faces. I love it because it's fun and I can make the character look pretty. But I hate it because I'm not good at it and easily over-render it. Faces like my style, and by that I mean anime style, don't really need every muscle and detail to be rendered. It just needs to be simple and easy to read. But I really like rendering in general, and it makes it hard not to over-render a face. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, even though simplicity is the key. The only part that I need to put more effort into is probably the eyes. I'm not good at them and I tend to make them look plain. Moving on to the hair, I love rendering hair, but I suck. I like the way some artists draw hair. Flowy, shiny, smooth, very detailed, just chef kiss. But I also like the simple style of rendering hair. No details on every strand, no small hair strands, just using shadow and light to shape the hair. I love both and can't really decide to stick to just one style. But looking at my own style, I think I'm leaning towards the latter style of rendering hair. During the update, I go back and work on the background again. There are small details I didn't add when sketching, like the pastels, paint tubes, and brushes on the floor, because I think it'd be faster if I just block and render them on the spot. Those are not really important, just there to fill the space, and I can easily move them around without affecting the overall composition. I can always delete them if I don't like them and change them without really affecting anything. I think the scene is a bit empty, so I add more pastels and paint tubes scattered around the floor. I'm trying to add a story for the painting. She is taking a break from drawing or painting, or both, multitasking, you know, and is laying down on the floor because her back hurts. Just kidding. Anyway, the idea is she was working and currently taking a break. If you ever work with traditional media, scattered paints, brushes, pencils, and papers are normal. Almost inevitable, I say. So here I add more of those things to show that she is serious about her art, and that's why her room is a mess. Sometimes I like to go back and forth when rendering because it will give me fresh eyes, you know, like the paint box. I was having a difficult time rendering it since it was mostly in the shadows and far away from the light source. So there wasn't much to render, but I also needed to at least polish it a little bit. So when I feel stuck, I move on to the other things that I have a clear idea of how to render it. It would just be a waste of time if I kept stubbornly trying to make it work and fix it when I don't even know what I'm doing. So yeah, going back and forth really helps with that. As you can see here, I'm blocking out more items that weren't there previously. The reason why I'm blocking them now is because I don't think they are that important while sketching. I plan to add them anyway, so I skipped them during the sketch and made a mental note to myself that I'd add pen tubes, brushes, and whatever people keep in their paint box. Even now, I'm looking at references as I paint and block them. I'm not a detail-oriented person, so I'd rather have the big picture first and then deal with the details later. And right now, I'm doing the details. I like my illustration to tell a story, even just a simple one, like these bunnies. I don't really need them to be so interactive with their surroundings because they aren't the main story. It's the character. But why not, right? They can tell their own stories without overpowering the main story. Think of this as a subtext, rather than having them just be cute and round on the floor like melting jellies. I think it's more interesting to have them interact with each other. This way, when the viewer's eye drifts from the character, they still get to see more stories. You may or may not notice that I rendered one of the bunnies differently from the others. I made one bunny look glossier than the others because I thought jelly-like bunnies might be cute, so I gave it a try. Then I ran into a problem not long after. That is, glossy bunnies are kinda hard to render. At least I didn't think I knew how jelly looked in the shadows. Plus, glossy means pretty shiny and smooth and will reflect light, right? And the bunnies would reflect the light even when they were kinda in the shadows. That would mess with the focus. Right now I want to maintain the sharp, clean lighting. If the bunnies had been glossy, they would have competed for the viewer's focus. Finally, we are rendering the character, yay! The busy part of the character is around the face and hair. For the body, I just render it quite simply, like adding shadows and necessary details, like a little bit of folds and a little bit of highlights. I don't want to spend too much time rendering the body because I will definitely over-render it and risk it standing out more than the face, since the face is the focal point here, so I want the viewer to see the face first and not the body first. So when working on the eyes, I feel like the main challenge is making her red eyeliner stand out. It's tricky because it's easily mistaken as a rendered eyelid since the color can look very similar under the red light. I can't make it redder because it will look like a badly rendered eyelids. So I kinda made it orangey. I did try to make it redder, but it just didn't work. I'm adding eye bags as well because it's part of a design, and I'm being careful here not to make the eye bags too dark like someone who hasn't been sleeping for 2 days. If you are wondering what's up with the flashing blue layer, it is because I'm trying to see if there are unfilled areas that I missed. It's hard to see the unfilled areas when the colors are all the same. My client plans to animate this, so I need to make sure the shape of each part of the character is clean and neat. Naturally, since this will be animated later, I have the main hair, ears, buns, and twin tails in separate layers. So because of this separation, I'm trying to make sure that every piece connects seamlessly. Finally, I'm working on her hair. I'm cleaning up the shapes first before rendering because it will be harder to render first than cleaning up. It might mess up the rendering. Since her hair has red highlights, I separate them into their own layer and clip them onto the hair below. This is to avoid messing up the shapes of the highlights as well as to maintain their color. Fortunately, her hairstyle is perfect for independent rendering. I don't need to worry about making the buns and twin tails look seamless because they are not directly attached to the main hair, unlike the ears. To be honest, I feel like I'm not doing the nails in her hair justice because they are genuinely a good concept. They look cute on her reference sheet, but I couldn't give them the shout out they deserve because of the angle. Especially the two nails in her right buns. It's such a shame that from this angle they look like two plates, which is boring. The green braids on the twin tails are a little bit different though. At first I kept them separated, but since the green hair was basically part of the hair and not just highlights, it made more sense to have them on the same layer, so I merged them together. It's easier to render this way as well, so I can keep the rendering consistent. Remember when I said I'm not good at drawing braids? It's actually because I prefer to paint them instead of drawing them. That's why I didn't waste too much time, although I did redraw them quite a few times. But I didn't try to get it right. It's easier for me to just paint them directly. I'm not trying to draw super accurate braids, just good enough to convince people that they are braids. About the hair, specifically the end of her twin tails, you might notice that the ends of her hair have pink and blue paint on them. I also feel like I'm not doing them enough justice. They look cute in the reference sheet, just like the nails, but because my style is in chibi and the reference is in chibi, they look more like dyed hair. I try my best to make them look like they have been dipped in paint, but looking at it again, I could have added more texture. We are almost at the end of the video, which means I'm almost done with this. The last part of my process is usually just me adding more details on a new layer, kinda like paint over my own drawing. The purpose of this is just for me to see if it's a good idea to add more details or it will just make everything worse. This is a non-destructive way to add details. I can just delete them if I don't like what I added, without messing up the real drawing. In this case, I'm adding more hair strands for details and polishing the hair shape on a new layer, and I'm going to merge it together with the real one later. I probably should have mentioned this earlier in the video, but I'm really sorry for the frantic canvas flipping. It's a habit I try to fix, but my hand moves faster than my brain. So I hope you didn't get dizzy by the end of this video, and I'm really sorry about that. So this is the final result. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit too long and I did my best to make it short and as informative as possible. This is my first time making this kind of video, and I usually just post the speed paint with background music. If you guys have any feedback for me, please let me know in the comment because I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye bye.